What are two things that I would have loved to have at the beginning of my career? One, artificial intelligence, and two, my diagnosis as neurodivergent. And it just so happens that these are two of the most important topics in the workplace today, and they have a lot to do with each other. Now, this is the AI hour, where I spend just 1 hour and see what I can get done on an AI tool. And we'll get to that in a bit. But first, I want to talk about the neurodivergent part, which is a thing that, even though it is a protected characteristic, it's a disability, it's part of the whole DEI package, people are still kind of squishy, uncomfortable talking about it. So this is really the first time I've ever brought it up in public. So throughout my professional career, I've gotten one piece of pretty consistent feedback, and it goes something like this. Tom, man, you are killing it at this one particular piece of the job. We can tell you're passionate and interested. And then everything else, the stuff that you're not interested in, like the busy work, yeah, you're not doing a great job of, buckling down, focusing up, or following through. And the truth is, you need to have both, right? I mean, to do a good job, no matter what your job is, you have to follow through, even when the work is tedious or pointless or non-rewarding, right? That's part of the job. That's adulthood. And I would really beat myself up over it when I didn't change in time for the next review. I think, if I'm being entirely honest, I might have lost some jobs and opportunities because of this. The perception is that this was just a weakness or a flaw, which I don't mind admitting, of course, because everyone has weaknesses or flaws. And if you think you don't have one, then please DM me, and I'll let you know what yours is. And anyway, to sum it all up, TLDR, I got officially diagnosed in my 40s, pretty severe ADHD. Now again, this probably doesn't come as a surprise to a lot of you who I've worked with, maybe, but it did to me. Kids, I feel like growing up where I did, in the 80s and 90s, people weren't being diagnosed ADHD unless you were like literally bouncing off the walls. And I was getting great grades, and I was very social, drama club, if you couldn't tell. And the term neurodivergent was not widely used or known, if it even existed at all. The takeaway was always, well, even if you do have some sort of neurodivergence of some kind, unless it's clearly holding you back, why mess with it? And by the way, certainly don't talk about it. Anyway, I am so glad that I got diagnosed as ADHD, even if it did come later in life, for three main reasons. One, I was able to find medication that works like gangbusters, bruv, okay? It helps me keep my attention all day long. My motivation is up. My attention span is, lasts all day. I don't know if this medication existed 10 or 20 years ago. Two, I am finally able to recognize this not as just some personality flaw, but as something inherent to me. And by the way, this is a strength. Because the flip side to my ADHD is that if I can be made passionate about something, I will work on this until someone forcibly drags me away from it. I know now how to communicate better to my coworkers, how to get the best out of me. In fact, I'm developing that into a whole suite of tools to help improve relations between neurotypical and neurodivergent colleagues. Now, number three, and of course the reason that we're here, I got diagnosed right at the start of the AI wave. Now, why does that matter? Because folks, AI tools are absolutely perfect for people like me. The pieces of the job that I would find limiting for myself because of how tedious they were, the ones that would always trip me up, boom. I got help for that now. If I don't have the time or frankly the patience to spend an entire week researching a topic, ChatGPT or Bard can at least help point me in the right direction in a few minutes. If I need to create a mood board for a deck, if I don't have an art director handy, Midjourney can at least get the project rolling in a few minutes. And if I need to cut a bunch of social clips from a podcast, which is an incredibly tedious thing, I can use Canva, I can use Opus clips, whatever. I'm like firing on all cylinders here. I don't know how many cylinders there are. Is there 150 cylinders? That sounds right. Anyway, they're all lit up. I hope I'm not exaggerating when I say that AI might be the best thing to ever happen to neurodivergent workers. But I just said it, so there you go. So, I want to put these things together, and today I'm going to be reviewing an AI tool called Gamma, which, again, takes one of the more tedious aspects of being in a creative executive role like mine and solves it. It makes your presentation decks. Now, can it make these decks as sexy and sleek as a human can? No. Not yet. Is the writing as solidly thought through as humans would be? Again, no. And is the image selection the best that I've ever seen? Certainly not. But it's good enough to get started. And that's what's key. If it takes care of half of the job, and my job is just tweaking and creative directing it, fantastic. That is like candy for a brain like mine. So let's see what we can accomplish in 1 hour on Gamma. Gamma lets you create decks a couple of different ways. You can obviously just do a new deck from a completely blank thing. So if you want to use this just to put stuff in and choose card layouts, you can do that, although that's the same thing that PowerPoint does, so why on earth would you want to do that on Gamma? But here's where the fun starts. You can create new from AI, and there's two ways to do this. One, most popular way is to generate. And so, son of a whore. And so I put in, create a neurodivergent deck, and it spat out this. It basically took the idea of neurodivergence in the workplace and then decided for itself what the cards should be. I thought, okay, that's kind of cool. Gave me a nice, diverse picture of people to put. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. This theme, I believe, is Dune. The reason I chose that is because there's been some research that says that earth tones, beige kind of imagery is good for people with ADHD, but of course you can choose any of the themes here. We're good with this for now. So it gave me a thing that says facts and myths about neurodivergence. And I was like, cool, great idea. Then it didn't, identify any facts and myths. And I do find that this is a kind of a problem with AI copywriting in general. It'll often invite me to learn or uncover the truth or discover for myself when it's being lazy and it doesn't want to pull the facts up itself. See, AI, I'm the lazy one. I need you to pull the facts up. Anyway, so it gave me some facts and myths, but it doesn't tell me what they are. So all people with ADHD are cannibals. Myth. Only some of us are. Okay, why support neurodivergent employees? Now, this originally was an accent image, so I went in and I replaced that with Unsplash images. Doesn't have a lot of examples for neurodivergent, but it allows you to put in what you want. That's pretty good. Challenges faced by neurodivergent individuals. Again, it did not do a great job of deciding what those are. Let's see what happens when you choose Surprise Me. If I don't want just this Dune, it gives me a different kind of Dune. Okay, so it's not all that surprising, to be honest. But yeah, but AI generated this art for me based on prompts I gave it. It looks like decent corporate art. Everyone's faces are horribly nightmare mangled in the AI tradition. So that's not great, although I guess I don't know if that's the case in your workplace or not, so maybe it's appropriate. And conclusion and call to action. Again, it says wrap up the presentation. You don't normally put that in your presentation in writing, so that's not so great. So then the second approach that I took, clicking on paste in text. I grabbed some text about neurodivergence that I just had worked up, some notes and so forth, and went ahead and put that through. You can choose if you want a presentation or a document or a web page. And after a few minutes, it gives me this one. Now I chose a different theme. Here it goes, returning. Empowering neurodiversity in the workplace. It gives me a couple different varieties of art, which is great, and card layout, which is cool. I like this, supporting neurodivergent colleagues. That's cool. I don't think I've ever seen a fist. What would that be? That's not like a hand mountain. That's like a fist pile or a fist pie. A star fist. That's what that is. That's good. Star fist. Anyway, that doesn't happen at my office, but maybe it does at yours. So great. Because it's a presentation deck, you can also choose pie charts and bar graphs and all these different things to get. You can choose to have toggled pieces like this that nest cards within each other. So you have some options. This is the one that I finally ended up with. Just taking a few minutes to really more carefully think out the flow that I wanted and put that in there. I preserved the copy. So when you're generating the copy, you can choose to either generate it new or preserve it. I preserved copy. It gave me a much more professional, corporate looking, well thought out presentation here that I will make public, and once I'm done tweaking it. Okay, so in my hour of using Gamma, I was able to put together 3 presentations. The first, not so great. The second, a little better. And the third, in fact, that third one I think was maybe good enough that with just a little bit of more time spent tweaking, I can publish that as a free resource on my LinkedIn. Why not? So overall, I'm giving Gamma an A-. The copywriting is not good. The image generation and selection is kind of iffy, but it delivers what it promises. It builds decks, it does it quickly, has pretty good flexibility. So overall, this is definitely something I'm going to use in the future. It's definitely something that I'm going to get a subscription for. Okay, so of course, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this and you want to see more of the AI Hour or other work from me. You'll also notice I had in that deck a slide about neurodiversity consultation. And that wasn't a mistake. Yes, this is something that I'm leaning into a little bit more. I'm leaning into my personal experience and the problems that I faced at work, as well as a whole bunch of new training that I've been doing recently to offer this service up to companies. So what I do is I help employers and I help diversity departments make the most out of their neurodivergent workforce. I help managers better deal with their direct reports. And I help integrate AI tools to help these neurodivergent employees operate more efficiently, but also in an ethical way. So if that's something that's of interest to you in your company, please let me know. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon.